Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Florida Writers Book Expo. My name is Michael Farrell, and I am a director of the Florida Writers Association. FWA is an all-volunteer nonprofit group for all writers at all levels. We do writing conferences, workshops, webinars, podcasts, and events like this one. Thank you for joining us at the Florida Writers Book Expo, where we have 60 booths across genres with some amazing authors for you to meet. I'm joined by one of those wonderful authors, J.C. Gatlin. J.C. Gatlin is a mystery suspense author living in Tampa, Florida. He wrote 3 self-published mystery novels before his 4th mystery, Hangman, Murder is the Word, was published by Millford House Press and won gold for Best Mystery or Crime Fiction at the 2019 Royal Palm Literary Awards. So let's get started with our interview. First of all, JC, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So, first question, we're just going to get started with how you got started with your writing journey.
Where I got started, I've been writing since I was like kindergarten. I've been writing my whole life and entering contests and wrote my first play in grade school, and the kids acted it out.
Awesome, that sounds good. So, what inspired your most recent book?
Most recent one is Darkness Hides. It was just released last week by Millford House Press. And boy, there's several things. I wanted to write a story about a hurricane, and so I wrote a story about a hurricane. And I have at the bar I hang out at. I don't know if that sounds bad or not, but there's a lot of Florida Fish and Wild officers that hang out there, and they were telling me stories too. And so that kind of pushed me in the direction of, oh, that would make a great character. So that's kind of the
Awesome,
general. Mhm.
cool. So, as an author, what do you find to be the most exciting part of the job?
Boy, exciting. Well, like we were just talking about the award dinner, that was exciting. It's always fun too when you get to that last sentence and okay, now I get to send it off. And I know there's still editing to come, but you feel like you've got that big accomplishment because you just finished not your first draft, but your 14th draft that now someone else can read. That's
Right,
that's
right.
the excitement for me.
Yeah, definitely. So, besides from the most exciting part, what would be the most challenging part of being an author?
Definitely marketing. Getting the word out there is tough. And what works last week isn't going to work this week for whatever reason. So you've always got to be looking for new ideas and new ways to get the book out there to people, and that's just it's a chore, really. It's not my favorite part, but it's a necessary part.
Right. So you mentioned your 4th mystery, Hangman, Murder is the Word, was published by Milford House Press.
Mhm.
So you pretty much go the traditional publishing route, I'd assume.
I did. Well, I self-published my first 3 books, and then this one was picked up by Milford House. Or, Hangman
Which
was, and then they published Darkness Hides as well.
so which of between self-publishing and traditional, which do you, I guess, find yourself more comfortable with, or which do you prefer?
Well, I think I prefer the traditional published more, only because you're working with professionals. There's a marketing department and an artist department. You've got your editors, and first they read the story and give you feedback on plot points and character development, and then you work through that, and then they come back and with a line edit on words that could improve the story, and stuff they want you to kind of rewrite and make stronger or more suspenseful, and so I think they take what I think is a good draft, and they just take it to the next level. I'm more proud of my work working with a traditional publisher, but you give up some stuff too. I've got freedom of changing the price and doing marketing strategies with those 3 self-published books, and a lot of times they sell better because I can do things with them that I can't do with the traditional published books.
Awesome. So, with all the books that you have written, what part of the writing process do you find to be the most fun?
Well, the writing part of it, the first few drafts where you're coming up with ideas and you're just throwing everything into the book to see what's going to work and what doesn't work, and you pull this out and pull that in, and you write a scene, you're all excited about it, and then the next day you read it and you're like, what on earth was I thinking? And I enjoy that. I enjoy that creativity. The editing is tough because usually my mind has moved on to the next book, and so that's what I want to write and work on, but you got to go back and edit the latest book, and then you got to market all of them. So, but without a doubt, the writing, the beginning stages of it is what's exciting.
Awesome. And do you have any advice for any beginning authors?
Yes, definitely get involved in some type of critique group. The Florida Writers Association has lots and lots of them, but I think that's really important for a couple of reasons. A, you're working with people who have the same goals, and so you're supporting each other. And B, it's good to get that feedback. It's good to have somebody tell you this is like the most boring thing I've ever read. Why did you even give this to us? It can be brutal, but if you can just look at it objectively and not take things personally, you can get some really good advice. And of course, you're the author, so take what you want and leave the rest at the table in the wherever you guys are meeting.
Right. Writing definitely is best when it's not in a vacuum, because that's
Hmm.
where things can get a little skewed. Because there are plenty of things that you'll see that other people won't, or vice versa. So it's
Hmm.
those critique groups can definitely come in handy. So, what
They
would you
also help you.
say?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh no,
I
go
was going
ahead.
to say they also help you with a deadline too, because if you're meeting every 2 weeks, okay, I got to get these 10 pages done and get to a level where I can submit to the group, and it keeps you moving forward. Because it seems like a lot of times with new writers, it's just finishing that first book is a big challenge,
Hmm.
and a critique group can really keep you on pace to get it finished. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, no worries, no worries. So, what would you say are your favorite books, like the ones that inspire you the most?
Well, just about anything by Dean Koontz. I'm a big fan of Dean Koontz. Um, there's a lot of mysteries out right now that I'll get into this author and then get into that author, but I've always been consistently with Dean Koontz. Mary Higgins Clark, from as early as I can remember, I've read her stuff and have always enjoyed her mysteries. I would say she was a huge influence too on becoming a mystery writer.
Awesome. And were there any other inspirations, or I guess aspects of your life that kind of manifest themselves in your writing?
Yeah, I would say just about anything that's happening currently kind of seems to get, it gets filtered into whatever book I'm currently writing. I'll see conversations that'll pop up. This conversation I just had yesterday is just perfect for this scene. And, you twist it up a little
Hmm.
bit. And, but, things I see on television or things that I see, going to the grocery store or going to a theme park, they'll end up being into sometimes even not if the current book, it'll be an idea for a future book. I just had a great idea last night, and I was like, that's not going to work for Hangman 2, but man, that's a great theme for a future book. And I wrote it down and got it saved. So
Yeah,
life.
that's the best. That's the important part, is to be open to all
Mhm.
ideas, because they can always
Mhm.
be used for something.
Absolutely.
So, with all your inspirations and the way you put them together in your books, how do you, the way you tell it, your voice? How would you describe your voice in your writing?
Well, I try to have comedy. I try not to take it too seriously, and I try to have a voice that at the beginning of the book has some type of challenge, and it overcomes by the end of it. The end of the book, the main character, the point of view has realized, you know what, that was holding me back, but now I'm beyond it. So I hope it's funny, but also progressive. You know, it keeps moving forward, enlightening.
Right. So, speaking of your latest book, Darkness Hides, why do you think people who are watching now will enjoy that book?
Well, it's a page turner, so you know it's you start the book and you just keep flipping through the pages. The Amazon review I just got today was talking about. I started the book and I couldn't put it down. It was 3 a.m. in the morning before I finished it, and I love reading stuff like that. So it's suspenseful. It's got a great, strong female lead character, and of course she's taking care of herself. She was injured. She's taking care of her family because they've gone through a tragedy, and she's solving a murder. So she has a lot on her plate.
Sure sounds like it, yeah.
And in
So,
the midst of all that, the hurricane hits, of course.
right. Yeah, so definitely a lot of, I guess, a lot of conflicts and a lot of things going on at the same time.
That's what makes
So
a story
how,
great.
yeah, I totally agree. So when it comes to conflict, how exactly do you like to structure it? Like, do you like to focus on? I guess there's different types of conflict. You know, there's man
Mhm.
versus man. There's man versus nature. What would you say is shows up a lot in your stories?
Well, definitely man versus man, because you've got, I mean, just in a murder mystery alone, you've got one character who's solving the crime, and then you've got the other character who's trying to prevent that character from solving the crime. And so you just, in a murder mystery, I mean, you just have a natural man versus man. I love man versus nature as well, and Darkness Hides has the nature element on top of that. And then a lot of times I like to have just two characters who aren't necessarily adversaries, but like in Darkness Hides, the two sisters just have different outlooks on life. And so there's just natural conflict between them just because they have different viewpoints, even though they're not adversaries.
Right, right. But it's definitely an additional element that's thrown
Hmm.
in there to make things more interesting. So, how would you go about, I guess, planning your book? Are you more of a plotter or a pantser?
Oh, absolutely a plotter. And I think in a murder mystery, you have to be a plotter. I generally come into the book well, I start the book knowing how the murder is committed. I generally know who committed the murder, even if I don't know why. And I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I can move that around. See, my door has
Oh,
the latest book all plotted out. It actually goes all the way over to the wall. And by the time I'm
oh wow.
finished plotting that, then you know those cards will span all across the all across the wall.
Yeah,
Major
it's
plotter.
definitely yeah. I can see you put a lot of effort into making sure the events connect well.
And you have to. There's got to be certain clues laid. You know, everything has to unfold. And as the author, I'm giving one piece of information at a time, and you got to strategically place where to put those. So yeah, I'm very much a plotter. I'm an outline.
So, being a mystery suspense author, have you ever tried, I guess, experimenting with other genres?
No, not really. Um, a women's organization here in Tampa asked me to write a comedy play for them for a
Mm-hmm.
fundraiser. And so I did that, and it was supposed to be produced last year, but because of COVID, I don't know if you've heard of that or not, but there was like this pandemic thing going on. And so it got canceled, and so they're producing it this year. And it is a murder mystery, but it's a comedy mystery. So I'm not straying too far from the genre. And I've always read mysteries. I grew up on Encyclopedia Brown, and he didn't solve murders, but he did solve mysteries. So, you know, one of the kids at school is lying about something or has stolen lunch money, and he would solve
Hmm.
those. That was a huge influence when I was a little kid.
Right.
Big, big
So
influence.
yeah, so you're definitely like very into the mystery genre. What would you
Hmm.
say is like the best parts of it in your opinion?
Well, it's a puzzle, so the best part is looking at the clues and trying to figure out who did it.
Hmm.
And whether I'm reading a mystery or writing a mystery or watching a movie or a TV show, it's fun to pick up on those clues. And because I kind of know the structure, a lot of times I'll go, oh, well, yeah, there's the murderer. They just dropped the clue. Unless it's a red herring that was done really well, sometimes that'll throw you.
Right.
The suspense too is huge. I love suspenseful novels. Dean Koontz is very suspenseful. Steve Alton is very suspenseful, even though he's more into, sharks and things. But I love the suspense. A good book that you can't put down. The Shining was that way. One of the very first books I ever read was The Shining, and I started
Hmm.
it and then just I couldn't put it down. I sat and read the whole thing.
Awesome. So I guess in the way that that books can all influence us, what do you hope that your books uh, accomplish? Like, what do you want? How do you want to affect your readers?
Well, I hope they're entertaining, and I hope they're puzzlers. But that's the main goal is to be entertaining. So I hope that people read my books and say, "I really enjoyed that. I wish I'm not ready for the book to end. I gotta read more." And that's the best compliment right there. But definitely being entertaining.
Awesome. So you definitely have a very successful writing career going on now. What do you think is in your future as an author?
Well, I certainly hope there's more success. I hope that uh, my big goals right now is to create a series out of Hangman. The publisher
Hmm.
wanted a proposal for 5 more books in that series, so I put that together, and we went through that. We got the chapter titles and kind of an overall story arc going, even though there's individual mysteries in each book. And so I'm very excited about that. I just hope I very much want to get to a level where I not that I want to be recognized, but that people see a value in my name, in my brand. They say, "Oh, J.C. Gatlin mystery. That's going to be good. I can't wait to get the next one," and that's what I'm hoping to achieve.
Awesome, awesome. So we are almost out of time. So I guess real quick, where can we find you for the people watching?
Well, Amazon, of course, and Barnes and Nobles and Books a Million. They're not in the stores, but they are on those websites. And Hangman was recorded on audio, so Hangman's on Audible, and Darkness Hides on the list, so there'll be an Audible version at some point for that one too.
Hmm, awesome. So we have a question from our audience. Are you hoping to eventually live on your writing career? That could be great.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. That is a big goal right there.
Yeah, and that's actually something I'm hoping to do further down the line. But of course, I've got I haven't been published yet, so I've got some way to go. But I will say, like, we talked about this earlier, but I first met you at the 2019 Florida Writers Association conference.
We were
In
at the
fact, I was
same
sitting
table.
right
I
next to you
remember
when you won gold for Hangman in the RPLA,
that.
and you were very nice about it. You even like showed me it, and that kind of inspired me to enter in the RPLA and collections for the next year. Like that definitely
Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad to hear
got me
that.
started.
Well, that's great news.
Good.
And you're doing all the right stuff. I mean, getting involved with the FWA and are you in a writers group and a critique
No, but
group?
I am the co-chair of the youth program, and we hold a
Mm-hmm.
monthly writing club where we talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm. anything like that's going to help. It just keeps you engaged, and because it's easy to get discouraged, and it's very, very easy to get distracted. Life gets in the way, and then before you know it, 4 weeks have gone by, and you haven't written a word. So all of
Yeah,
that's
I
important.
definitely feel that. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, so looks like our time is up. So again, I want to thank you so much, JC, for
This was a
joining
lot of
us.
fun. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It was good seeing you again, and I look forward to seeing you at
Hmm.
the conference.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you as well. And for
All
those of
right.
you who are watching, be sure to stop by JC Gatlin's booth at FloridaWritersBooks.com. Check out his books. He also has a website, jcgatlin.com. There's a link to that on his page on FloridaWritersBooks.com. We'll also have more live interviews right here on Crowdcast, so you can check back later. And if you're interested in learning more about the Florida Writers Association, you can visit floridawriters.org. So thank you all. Thank you, JC, for being with me this evening, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Have a good one, everyone.